Do you feel that this society is getting faster? In the past, when we went to the supermarket to buy things, the cashier might take a long time to find the change. Now, we just scan the QR code and it's done with. In the past, a star might be popular for a long time, but now more and more stars suddenly become popular. But before you can figure out who he is and what works, he disappears again and is replaced by a new star. At the same time, our pace of life has also become faster. Work and study fill our lives. Everyone feels more and more tired and busy. That's right. We live in a big acceleration era. This is vernacular philosophy. Today, we are going to talk about social home speed. I mainly refer to two books by Hartmut Rosa, a philosopher and sociologist of the Frankfurt School in Germany, Acceleration, and the Birth of Mindful. His theory can help us understand many phenomena, including why modern people are getting busier and busier, why modern people are keen on consumption and short videos, but feel empty because of why modern people feel a kind of loneliness among the crowd, etc. I believe he will definitely bring you a lot of inspiration. Rosa believes that we can divide social acceleration into three categories, namely technological acceleration, social change acceleration, and life rhythm acceleration. Technological acceleration refers to the acceleration of processes with clear purposes, such as transportation, communication. For example, it may take a whole day to go to a place by green train in the past, but now it only takes a few hours by. It may take a month to send a letter in the past, but now it only takes a few seconds to send a WeChat message. It may take a long time to produce a product in the past, but now it can be automated in large quantities. Because the production speed has increased, the sales speed and consumption speed must also keep. So now there are more and more pervasive advertisements, more and more live broadcasts with goods. You can place an order with one click, pay with one click. He will even provide you with a small loan. In short, he is trying every means to make you spend your money quickly and then quickly start the next round of economics. The second kind of acceleration is the acceleration of social change, which refers to the acceleration of change itself. From ancient times to the present, people's occupations, interpersonal relationships, living habits, and values have been changing. And in the current late modern society, the rate of these changes themselves has increased. For example, in pre-modern and early modern societies, a father's occupation would be passed down to his son. In classical modern society, children were free to choose their occupation, but they usually only chose it once and then worked for the rest of their. In late modern society, people's job changes are becoming more and more. According to sociologist Sennett, a highly educated working class in the United States will change jobs about 11 times in their lifetime. I talked to a friend who works in an internet company, and he said he had changed jobs 8 times, and this was normal in internet companies. Why do more and more people want to take the civil service exam to enter the system? Part of the reason is to resist this increasingly frequent job change. Similarly, the divorce rate and remarriage rate in today's society are also hitting new. In the past, the transportation and mail were slow, and there was only enough time to love one person in a. Now, if you don't love me, forget it, and at worst, you'll still be looking for. This acceleration of social change has led to the shrinking of the present. That is, the time frame corresponding to the present is getting smaller and on the one hand, past life experiences and expectations of life quickly expire, and the life experiences of our previous generation have less and less guiding significance. Even when we look through our own QQ space and chat records, we will feel that the ideas that seemed normal at the time are now out of. On the other hand, as for the future, we can't tell what it will be like. In the end, the only thing we can be sure of is a shrinking. The third acceleration is the acceleration of the pace of life. That is, the increase in behaviors or experiences within each unit of time. The objective manifestation of this acceleration is that people's behaviors are becoming shorter and more complex. Studies have shown that people spend less and less time on eating, sleeping, communicating with family members, etc. And the time interval between each behavior is getting smaller and smaller. Every time I come to modern metropolises like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, the first thing I feel is that the pedestrians on the road walk very fast, as if everyone is in a hurry to do the next. Even those tourists who come to relax are always rushing to the next attraction, wanting to get more different experiences within a limited. In addition to the increasingly short and compact behaviors, people are also increasingly multitasking, such as talking on the phone while walking to improve their efficiency. Such an accelerated pace of life will inevitably be reflected on the subjective level, that is, a feeling of lack of time. People feel that the speed of time has increased. How can a day pass by so quickly? At the same time, people also feel that the time pressure has become. They always feel that there are many things to do, and they are increasingly intolerant of wasting time, as if once they stop, they will be eliminated by this society. There are internal factors and external factors. From the perspective of internal factors, the three types of social acceleration themselves constitute a self-driven acceleration cycle. The emergence of new technologies will always change the employment structure, economic structure, communication, and dissemination structure of society, thereby promoting the acceleration of social changes. In order to keep up with social changes, people must work harder, which leads to the acceleration of the pace of the acceleration of the pace of life, in turn, provides impetus for the acceleration of technology. Think about the technological revolutions that are relatively close to us, such as the internet revolution, which has accelerated the spread of information and led to the rapid rise of many professions such as e-commerce practitioners, programmers, anchors, and up masters. These professions are updated very quickly. In order to keep their positions, everyone can only squeeze their time, so people need more advanced technology to improve efficiency and relieve time. In this way, the acceleration of technology, the acceleration of social change, and the acceleration of social rhythm have become a closed loop, and they can continue to cycle without external forces. We often see a naive idea that the acceleration of technology can liberate humans from heavy labor and gain more free. For example, the famous economist Keynes once predicted that people would be troubled by doing nothing in 2030 because with the development of productivity, humans only need to work 15 hours a week. But reality tells us that this prophecy is obviously impossible to come true Because with the development of productivity, we are even more tired and busier. So, where did Keynes go? He was wrong in that he only saw the relationship between technological progress and the pace of life, but ignored the social changes caused by technological progress. For example, we use WeChat to replace writing letters, so we save time. This is what Keynes saw. But what he didn't see is that when everyone started using WeChat, the time saved from writing letters to sending WeChat was used to handle more WeChat messages. Similarly, the time saved from walking to driving was used to go to more places. The time saved by increased productivity was used to produce more products. In the end, we became busy. In addition to these three social acceleration self-circulations, there are three more. External forces are also driving social acceleration. First of all, competition, especially economic competition. As the saying goes, time is money, and only by spending time working can value be created. Therefore, economic competition will lead to an increase in labor time or labor intensity. Ms. Ma has already explained this very thoroughly, and everyone who understands it will understand. In addition to economic competition, there are many other competitions, such as sports, scientific research, art, religion, politics, military, etc. All fields are competing. From a personal perspective, academic qualifications, income, marriage, connections, and children's achievements are all in the late modern era. There are also many strange competitions, such as competition on social media, where people compete to post photos that show their advantages in their circle of and then secretly compare how many likes they get. These ubiquitous competitions will inevitably intensify social acceleration because the logic of competition is to achieve more achievements within a unit of time. And we will find a lot. At that time, we were so competitive, not because we liked what we did, but because everyone else was competing. So if we didn't compete, we wouldn't even be able to stay where we were. Another driving force for social acceleration is the fight against death. In pre-modern society, people used religion to fight against death. People will always die, so what should we do? Don't be afraid, we still have an afterlife. At that time, we will enter a world beyond and gain eternal life. But after entering modern society, God died, and the dream of the world beyond was shattered. People know very well that the only thing they have is this relatively short thing, so people can only make good use of the time of this thing, wanting to get as many different experiences as possible, and it is best to live one life as two lives. This is why modern people like to pursue all kinds of novel experiences so much. So we will see more and more people keen to see all kinds of things they have never seen, eat all kinds of things they have never eaten, play all kinds of things they have never played, and try to fill their schedules, calling it enriching themselves, and then take pictures and send them to as if this can prove that their time is not wasted. But does this really make people feel happy? Although people are constantly chasing new experiences, there are endless things to experience. So people are always disappointed to find that what they miss is always growing faster than what they have experienced. So Rosa said that people feel like a hamster running in a wheel. However, the desire for life in the world is not satisfied, but it makes people more eager and frustrated. The third driving force of social acceleration is social functional differentiation. Social functional differentiation is a concept proposed by German sociologist. It roughly means that the economy, politics, religion, law, science, education, art, etc. are differentiated into relatively independent systems. This kind of differentiation is commonplace for us modern people, but we must know that the society before was not like this. Luhmann believes that the evolution of human society has gone through three forms, namely segmentation and differentiation society, class differentiation society, and functional differentiation society. In primitive society, society was mainly divided according to tribes, clans, and families, which is a segmentation and differentiation society. In ancient society, a large amount of social resources were concentrated in the hands of a few people, forming different classes, which is a class differentiation society. Although there were economic, political, and religious systems at that time, the boundaries between these systems were very. For example, a word from the emperor could influence the outcome of a legal judgment executing or pardoning a criminal. In modern society, there is a clear differentiation between the systems. Although there are interactions between the systems, they all have their own independent operating logic, and the logic of one system cannot be used on another system. For example, although the government can use macroeconomic regulation to influence the stock market, it cannot directly use administrative orders to stipulate the rise and fall of the stock market. With this clear functional differentiation, everyone can enter and exit each system. For example, if you want to make money, you enter the economic system, and if you want to deal with disputes, you enter the legal system and then take actions according to the operating logic of each system. Since functional differentiation reduces mutual interference between systems and improves the operating efficiency of each system, this differentiation is conducive to relieving time pressure. But on the other hand, this differentiation will in turn increase time because after differentiation, the complexity of each system will increase, and each system will make people feel that there are endless things to. And this differentiation may also cause the so-called timization of complexity. What does this? For example, for a college student, the education system may require him to go to class. The economic system may require him to participate in an intern, and the family system may require him to handle some household chores. But he cannot complete these tasks at the same time, so he may choose to go to class first and then put the internship and household chores aside. In this way, his current tasks become simpler, but he actually projects the complexity onto the future timeline. That is, he has to make careful time planning in order to get things. This is why modern people are increasingly dependent on schedules and time management skills and feel more and more time pressure. And when we arrange our time, often something else suddenly appears. So we have to adjust the original plan. So we feeling that we are really sure of only a short period of time, which is what we said before, the shrinkage of the present. After talking about the reasons for social acceleration, what consequences will social acceleration cause? It will certainly bring some good effects, such as making our lives more convenient and bringing more possibilities to life. But as a representative of critical theory, Rosa wants to remind us that social acceleration will lead to new crises. In The Birth of Informatization, Rosa criticized social acceleration from many angles. Due to the length of the article, I will only introduce the criticism that has the greatest impact on our lives. That is, social acceleration will lead to human alienation. This alienation is reflected in five aspects. The first is spatial alienation. That is, the geographical location we are in is losing its original. A basic relationship between us humans and the world is that people always live in a specific area and are connected to many other things in this area, such as where we go to school, where we work, and who we deal. I heard from my mother that at that time, neighbors knew each other and helped each other. For example, when my family made dumplings, I would send some to your house. And when my family ran out of soy sauce, I would go to your house to borrow. But now, this kind of thing is becoming less and less. In fact, in recent decades, our connection with the surrounding environment is rapidly. I have seen sociologist Xiang Biao and upmaster Lao Jiangzhu Kaopu discuss this issue before. They call this the disappearance of the neighbor. More and more people don't know their neighbors, don't have many friends around them, don't understand the history and culture of the place where they are, and don't care about the news happening near. But at the same time, they may know netizens from all over the country, know international news like the back of their hands, and know the history and culture of other places like the back of their. Therefore, the neighborhood is losing its meaning. We are no longer in a long-term, stable, deep, or even intimate relationship with the people and things around. So, why is the disappearance of the neighborhood happening? Rosa's answer is the acceleration of technology, especially the acceleration of transportation and communication technology. You can get to another city in a few hours by taking a high-speed train. When you turn on your mobile phone, information from all over the world will immediately flood. If you want to shop or eat, you don't have to go downstairs. You can just order takeout online. Technology has given us a stronger ability to overcome spatial barriers, but it has also greatly reduced our interest and demand for things around us. There was a very popular concept called the metaverse before. In fact, it is to use technology to replace the real space around us with virtual space. In addition, I personally think that the disappearance of the neighborhood is also related to the other two accelerations. First, the acceleration of social changes will lead to changes in the neighborhood. For example, the real estate industry has risen rapidly. In those years, buildings were suddenly built near my home, and some original buildings and landscapes were demolished. So, of course, my neighborhood has become unfamiliar. A bite of China has made Chongqing noodles popular. In an instant, there are many noodle shops selling Chongqing noodles on the street. Then, when the limelight is over, these noodle shops will close down immediately. In recent years, milk tea has stopped being popular, and many milk tea shops have appeared. Therefore, changes in economy, policy, and culture will quickly change the appearance of our neighborhood. Before we fully understand it, it will immediately become something. Finally, the accelerated pace of life leaves us no time to establish connections with the neighbor. Now, many people get home from work at 10 p.m. If we are not close to our neighbors, even if we are on vacation, we have many other things to do. We have no time to interact with our neighbors and go around the neighborhood. The final result is that we no longer care about and understand our neighborhood, and it becomes more and more unfamiliar. The second kind of alienation is the alienation of the object world. That is, the alienation of the relationship between us and objects. Our lives cannot be separated from objects. If your mobile phone is broken now, you will immediately feel very uncomfortable, and even many things cannot be done. Not only that, many objects have accompanied us through a lot of time, carrying our memories of the past. As the saying goes, we have used them with affection, but with the acceleration of technology, the relationship between us and objects has been destroyed. Have you noticed that we rarely repair objects now? In the past, a pair of socks was mended and worn for several years, but now they are thrown away directly if there is a hole. This is because the speed of producing objects has increased rapidly, but the speed of repairing objects has increased slowly, which leads to the fact that it is often better to replace them with new ones instead of repairing them. In addition, many of the objects we use are becoming more and more complicated, and we often don't know how to repair them. What's more important is that we replace many items before they are worn out. For example, when the iPhone 13 came out, many people immediately replaced their iPhone 12. When new clothes, bags, and shoes come out, the old ones are immediately covered in dust and then thrown away after a while because they are out of date. Due to the frequent replacement of such items, it is becoming increasingly difficult for us to establish a deep connection with the items. We often feel that the new items are not so handy to use, and we don't have much cherishment for them. We can only continue to buy and buy to make up for the inexplicable feeling of loss in our hearts. The third kind of alienation is the alienation of action. What is the alienation of action? Rosa used a more frustrated term, which is not like being at home, that is, not being able to do what you want to do calmly. The frequent replacement of items we just mentioned can lead to such an alienation of action. For example, after changing to a new phone, we often can't find where some things are. This situation occurs because the acceleration of society leaves us no time to learn about these items in detail. In fact, this situation not only occurs in items, but also in many other aspects. For example, when registering an app, it always asks us to read and confirm the user agreement. But we don't have time to read it at all. For example, the guide for filling out college entrance examination applications always says that you should first think clearly about what you really want to do, then carefully study which universities offer the major you want to study, and widely understand the learning conditions and related future employment opportunities. But this advice is the most useless because the problem of high school students is precisely that they don't know what they really want to do. High school students are always in a rhythm of life where the homework they leave today must be handed in tomorrow. How much time do they have to deeply understand themselves and various majors? In the end, everyone enters a major that they don't understand, and they don't know what they will learn or what they will do in the future. They have no confidence at all and can only take one step at a time. This is what Rosa said about not feeling like home. I just talked about the situation of not knowing what I want to do, but there are also many times when we know what we want to do, but we don't do it. We often say, when I have time, I must learn the violin. When I have time, I must read this book. When I have time, I must travel somewhere. But when we really have time, we don't do these things, but chat on WeChat and watch short videos. Rosa believes that this is also the consequence of social acceleration, because in an accelerated world, it is wiser to find a desire that can be satisfied in a short time than to set a desire that takes a long time to satisfy. But the problem is that these short term desires are not our most authentic desires. After we finish browsing our phones, we will feel very empty. The final result is that we are all forgetting what we really want to do, but are voluntarily doing what we don't really want to do. The fourth alienation is time alienation, that is, the alienation of our experience of time. Studies have shown that the time we experience is inversely proportional to the time we can remember. If we do something we like very much, such as taking a very fulfilling trip, then we will feel that time has passed quickly. But when we think back on the day at the end of the day, we will feel that the day has passed for a long time. On the contrary, if we do something very boring, such as queuing or waiting for someone, then often we feel that the days pass by like years. But before we go to bed, we feel that the day has never happened and has just passed. In short, these two modes of time experience are: one is short experience but long memory, and the other is long experience but short memory. In our late modern digital media world, a new mode of time experience has emerged, that is, short experience and short memory. Rosa used television as an example, but the current short videos can obviously illustrate this mode better. The current short videos use exaggerated music and pictures to try to bring strong stimulation to the senses in the shortest time, and then we swipe our fingers and enter the next experience. But after watching the short videos, we seem to remember nothing and forget them immediately. So this is a time mode with short experience and short memory. Why does this mode appear? First, when we watch short videos, we just look at the screen with our eyes, not like traveling. We are fully engaged. Secondly, short videos are isolated fragments, and most of their content has nothing to do with us, so they cannot constitute a part of our continuous life. German philosopher Benjamin once distinguished two concepts. One is experience, and the other is experience. Experience is some fleeting fragments, while experience is deeply imprinted in our hearts, connected with our life experiences, and has the power to touch people's hearts or change ourselves. Benjamin said that we may have reached an era with rich experience, but poor experience. We all push your finger to see all things in the world and all kinds of human beings, but no fragment really belongs to our own life. The fifth alienation, which is the last one, is self alienation and social alienation. In pre modern society, the people met in their lives were relatively limited. At that time, people generally lived in a relatively fixed area, such as a town, and the people around them were relatively fixed, and they could establish some stable interpersonal relationships. But in modern society, people's lives are full of other people. When we go out and take a bus, it's full of people. When we turn on the television to watch the news, it's full of people. When we open the video website to watch the comments and barrage, it's full of people. Compared with the past era, the number and types of social relationships we participate in now have reached an unprecedented level. Perhaps this is part of the social reason why more and more people feel that they are socially anxious. In this fast changing, fast meeting, and fast separating society, it is increasingly difficult to establish and maintain truly resonant interpersonal relationships. It takes too much time to establish such relationships, and it is too painful to separate once they are separated. My parents' generation could still organize class reunions more than 10 years after graduation, but my generation generally has no contact after graduation. Nowadays, people are exposed to more and more people, but there are fewer and fewer real friends. People often feel lonely among the crowd because our time, space, actions, and social interactions are all alienated. So self alienation is probably inevitable. Each of us does not exist in isolation, but in connection with the world. Our actions, our life experiences, the people we know, and the items we need are all materials for us to form our identity. And if these things are alienated, what should we use to position ourselves? We may keep ourselves busy to cover up this deep anxiety in our hearts. But when it is late at night and we face ourselves nakedly, how should we answer? Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? Well, the above are 5 reasons caused by social acceleration, alienation. So, do we have any countermeasures in the face of alienation? Rosa said yes, that is resonance. The so called resonance is to be touched, respond to this touch, and then change and shape oneself in the process. The object of resonance can be people, nature, art, religion, etc. For example, when we see a gorgeous starry sky, we may exclaim, "Wow, it's so beautiful." At this time, we resonate with nature. Through the previous analysis of new alienation, Rosa believes that the main problem of life now is the lack of a relationship with substantial resonance. We lack resonance with time, space, action, and others, and the whole world seems silent, cold, and unresponsive. Why do public places such as supermarkets, shopping malls, and airports play background music now, or many people have to wear headphones when going out? Because we can't stand a silent world. We want to seek a resonance, even a minimal resonance. I think many people are willing to watch videos with barrages, perhaps also to find resonance. When the screen is full of barrages, we feel that many people feel the same as us, transcending time and space, and are on the same channel with us. As an upmaster, the reason why I make videos is that I hope to get everyone's response and gain some resonance. I wonder if you have gained some resonance when watching this video. In short, Rosa believes that we all have the instinct to pursue resonance, and what we should do is to pursue broader and deeper resonance. But we may not help but ask, how can we resonate better? Is resonance really a good medicine to cure the diseases of modernity? Has he ignored the fundamental contradictions of modern society and instead pursued a kind of small happiness of huddling together for warmth? Thank you for watching, and see you next time.